morning. Welcome to Live with Liz. Glad to be here again. Um, Today we're talking about using the docketing system at a law firm for business development and marketing. And I feel like this is one of those resources of information and of data that the law firm houses that is overlooked by the marketing and business development department. It's not something that we often find available. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulty on LinkedIn. So if you can't see me on LinkedIn right now, that's okay. We'll post it later. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I do know. Thank you for letting me know that that's an issue right now. But we'll figure it out. In any event, back to docketing and using information that your law firm has to make informed decisions on the marketing and business development side when it comes to investments in conferences, business travel, setting meetings, client targeting, advertising, creating content for all sorts of things that the firm needs to do on the marketing and business development side to promote your various practice areas and legal services. You need to have information to make informed decisions. Now, firms house data in many different places. So as a little side note, if you haven't figured out where all that data lives, if you don't have a repository, a document, or a chart, or dare I say, a database of your databases, it's really important to get a handle on what information is available and where it lives at your firm. This could be in your docketing system. Your accounting department has a lot of information. Tons of subscriptions that you use. These third-party tools may also house data for the firm, but you may have a CRM and marketing tools that also have information that's useful. But then you have your docketing system. So this also has a lot of information and often is the brain of your firm. It keeps track of all of your deadlines, the legal services you're offering. So there's a plethora of information available in this, and there's a disconnect between that side of the house and marketing and business development. So why does this disconnect exist? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but part of it has to do with your marketing and business development side. Hey, Leah, good morning. Part of it has to do with your marketing and business development side not either talking to the operational side or the legal services side, or not even understanding that that opportunity exists. And that's understandable because often you're hiring people on your marketing department who have marketing and business development skills who may not have the precise legal background that marries up with the services that you provide. Often that's a struggle, and you have to decide between hiring someone with a legal background and hiring someone with a marketing background and kind of training them to make up for what's missing. But that initial disconnect, which can even exist with people who have some legal experience and some marketing experience, that's something that we have to bring together to make better decisions for the firm. The first place that people go, in my experience working with firms, is usually the accounting department to get information about which clients are most important based on revenue, which practice areas are most important based on profit, which areas are more lucrative than others. Some areas you spend a lot less time, a lot less firm resources, but can still bring in bigger money when it comes to certain services that you're providing. In some areas, you might have a loss leader. You might do something that's more commoditized. And I often think about this with intellectual property being our background here. So we see things like low pressure pricing on trademark work, and then you have other practice areas like litigation that are known to be more lucrative because firms can really sell the services that they're expert in. And so it may be different for your firm, it may be different for your practice areas, it may be different because of the team that you have available, but in any case, you're still going to need to understand what that makeup looks like for your firm to make those informed decisions. I also find a little bit of a disconnect with the availability of that information for marketing departments. This is something we've spoken about before. What I mean here is, does your marketing department have access to all of that information from accounting with transparency? Can they really see the numbers and understand what's most important when it comes to the services that are being provided to clients? I've also come to learn that the accounting systems that the marketing and business development teams rely on, when you ask for a report from accounting, they often aren't delineated in such a way as to make them truly useful in terms of making decisions about where money should be spent on legal services. And then the other piece of it, cross-selling and figuring out how much work you actually have for a client, can be incredibly challenging to understand, because the information the marketing department receives either may be incomplete, or it may not be possible, or may just be too time consuming to figure out exactly how much money is being received by these clients based on the legal service itself. It may just say IP, it may just say corporate, it may just say patent, it may just say trademark, but that doesn't get into the actual work that's being provided to these clients in order to understand what other work you may be able to offer them, and also to understand where the white space exists. So even if you have a sophisticated marketing team looking into this information from various touch points of data at your firm, especially with your accounting department, there may be shortcomings where the docketing system all of a sudden becomes gold. It's amazing what can happen when the marketing department's eyes are opened to what your docketing system holds. Now, I have found that basically every firm I've ever worked with has a docketing system of some sort. Now, there are some that are really sophisticated when it comes to connecting that information with their CRM, or connecting that information with the accounting information and analyzing them together using data analysts. But not all firms have this kind of time. It's a luxury, or the skill set to make it valuable. That doesn't mean you can't get value out of understanding what's available in the docketing system. And you could overcome this situation where some firms are reluctant to share all of this accounting information with the marketing and business development team. It may be a workaround to use the docketing system instead, and not look necessarily at the numbers, but look at the work itself. And that's very useful when it comes to understanding how much and what kind of services are being provided to clients. But you can also get granular in the detail from your docketing system. So, docketing systems, I mean, if you're not really using one, if you're a solo or a solopreneur, or a small firm that hasn't quite figured out what your docketing system looks like yet, they come in many different forms. You could have a docketing system that is part of your law firm management software. You could have a docketing system that may just be your calendaring system. But understanding the deadlines that are associated with the work that you're providing, that can truly help understand what type of work is being provided itself. And understanding what work is being provided on a level that can't be achieved by looking at the accounting system means that your marketing department will have much more information when it comes to the cross-sell opportunities, and when it comes to client targeting, when it comes to finding the white space, when it comes to truly understanding what your firm is offering. It will also feed into this knowledge base, or this knowledge gap actually, that's there from this disconnect that exists between marketing and operations. So all of a sudden, the marketing department will have much more insight into what these legal services look like. How are they being provided? How much time does it take to provide them? And then, are you doing a lot of contentious work? And is that contentious work something that they can see from the accounting reports? Maybe not, but on the docketing system, it becomes much more clear. And oh, wow, your firm has expertise in this particular industry, because the accounting system may not break it down by industry, but if they have access to the docketing system, it might have cues as to what industry these firms are working in with information that's out there. Oh, that's a very good question, Brian. Thank you for that. What is white space? So we're talking about opportunities where you have uh, no conflict perhaps, or you have gaps in the services that you're providing that you could provide. So these free spaces for you to operate and offer additional services, the white space analysis, what's available. So you may be well represented in certain industries, or you may have clients in certain industries, but there may be industries that you have areas of expertise where you are available to provide services that you didn't quite know. Maybe you recently closed an account with a client that is freeing you up without a conflict to be able to offer services to another client in the same industry, for example. Maybe you have gaps in your services themselves, that you have this availability to be able to offer a service that perhaps your clients didn't know about. So when I say white space, that's what I'm talking about, these free open spaces for you to operate and offer your legal services in areas that you didn't know, maybe based on industry, maybe based on certain clients, jurisdiction, if you're operating in more than one place, maybe based on the legal services themselves. So there are actually tools out there that help you with that help you identify where you have availability to do things free. This is actually especially important for patent practitioners. So glad you asked that, Brian. I've actually seen it on several different research tools that you are able to go in and say, okay, you might be doing that on behalf of your clients already and saying, where are they free to operate and free to commercially exploit their rights and resources? And you may be doing that for a client. Have you ever done it for your firm? And so these are things that you might not be able to do on the accounting side of the house, but with that docketing system, you may have a whole just resource of data that you never even knew about. And so what would be helpful is that if you have a docket clerk who's adept at using your software and system, they can show the marketing department what's available, say, what kind of reports do you run regularly for the lawyers? Can you run reports with certain filters? What do those filters look like? A lot of document systems today offer flexibility for gathering information that just didn't even exist 5 or 10 years ago. And again, with those, they have connections. For example, you may have your docketing system connected to your CRM. You may have your docketing system connected to Dun& Bradstreet. So you can get all sorts of information about your clients automatically and the marketing department may not even know you have that. And so it's really important to just figure out what you know, but that docketing system itself filled with information that the marketing department may never have considered and may never have thought, oh, we should connect with the docket clerks and figure out what the law firm is actually doing. And, it's automatic that you think we need to go to the accounting department. That's automatic. Everyone's doing that. You figure out who the most important clients are, bada boom, bada bing, you're done. But no, you have all of these opportunities to utilize information from other resources. And the more sophisticated you become and the more competition you're facing, the better off you are for conducting this kind of activity. Now, this is also a resource heavy activity. You're going to be utilizing the resources of the precious time of the legal professionals at your firm who use these systems to be able to accomplish this. But hey, if you even start with it once per year, you're gleaning insights that you would never have gotten before, and that can absolutely affect the success of your marketing and business development efforts. And, having the marketing and business development team informed about what the firm is doing and how they're doing it is one of the best ways to be successful in your marketing spend and to get a higher return on those investments that you're making in all of those spaces, in your advertising, in your content marketing, in your business development travel, and even in the preparation for meetings with clients. If your marketing department knows that your law firms are meeting with particular clients, we're not just talking about prepping an RFP. We're saying before the meeting, talk with marketing and business development, do a quick check and say, hey, we could be offering this firm all these other services. We could be offering this company a few other legal services that we're not today. And also we could be building this relationship to get in somewhere else. And that's really important to be able to do today, to be very competitive in today's market and to make the most of the data that you have available. So if you're not using your docketing system to inform your marketing team, at least take a look at it. At least see what you've got available. If you haven't set up that database of databases at your firm, do that too. Figure out where all of the information lives. And maybe you have an accounting department that's sophisticated enough to pull all this information together and break it down by precise legal service for you based on what the timesheets of the lawyers look like. But I don't find that to be as useful as running a docketing report and giving that to marketing, and that to actually be easier and less time consuming. But you may need to make an investment in helping your marketing and business development professionals understand what those legal services are and how to use that docketing system themselves, perhaps. If you have questions about these kinds of suggestions about marketing and business development for your law firm in general, send us a question at solutions@firmforward.com. We're always happy to answer your one-off questions. And for upcoming information, I will be in Miami the week of November 14th. If you happen to be there, let's catch up. And Medellin the first week of December for the ASIPI annual meeting. So if you happen to be there, hit me up. We'll sit down for some coffee and get to know each other. And I'll see you next time on Live with Liz. Take care, everybody.